Well, good morning, everybody. Hope everybody's had a great summer. It's August 25th today. Would you look at this? Look at this. Look at all the leaves on the ground. What? This early? Now, I can't say that I'm necessarily upset about that. It has been an extremely dry and hot summer. It's been very difficult for outdoor dog training, but I have made it through with my clients with a variety of methods. Hiding in the shade, giving my clients breaks. So if I'm training at my client's house, I'll send them inside for 10 minutes in the middle of the lesson into the air conditioning to let their dog cool down. Spraying our dogs down with water. But it's tricky, man. This is a tough job. I don't have a facility. I'm not that kind of dog trainer. I go to you, the client, and I go train at your house and in your neighborhood. Chickpea. So it's difficult. And Chris and I, my wife Chris and I, have chatted a little bit about like what the future looks like for my business and what I'm going to do if the weather just continues to get hotter and hotter and hotter. And we've talked about looking at a different property in the near future, something with like a big garage or a workshop, something where I can have a facility so when the weather is too hot or the weather is too cold, I have somewhere where I can train with clients. And I don't really like that. I don't want a facility, first of all. Also, having a facility, like even training in like a big garage or something like that, that's not the same as training out here in public. Like, I like all the distractions of the real world when I'm training with my client. And I think that's just the better way to go. But what can you do? I mean, if the temperatures start soaring consistently over 40 degrees in the summer, and they start dropping below -20 in the winter, well, what can I do? I mean, there's limits to being outside with our dogs. There's limits to, the safety of our dogs in the weather. And there's just limits to how much, myself and the client can take outside. It's why I actually started closing for the entire month of February every year, because it's so consistently cold that I end up rescheduling more than 50% of my lessons. So what's the point? If I'm rescheduling half the lessons in the month, it's just making a giant headache for me. I hate the cancellations, so just decided that's the way it's going to go. And I even talked about perhaps closing through the month of July in the summer. I don't want to do that. This is prime time for me to earn money. But when the temperatures are so high, it makes things difficult. But I made it through this year. And even to the point where we've spent thousands of dollars on a big battery bank that runs the air conditioner in the van, and I did a video a while ago showing that. Worked like a charm this year. I didn't have to come home between a lot of appointments and drop the dogs off or pick the dogs up because I had that battery, and the dogs are great. I could keep the dogs in the van all day, charge the battery up at night when I get home, and then I got another 6-7 hours of air conditioning time in our van every day. So it's been absolutely wonderful. And today I'm just out with Chickpea and Penny. Ollie not feeling so well today. He's been a little off for the last couple days. He had a bit of diarrhea, and then last night he didn't really eat much. And even this morning I really had to coax him to eat like half of his breakfast. So yeah, not too sure what's going on, but that's owning a dog, and I'm sure everybody that owns a dog can attest to the fact that your dog's going to get sick sometimes, and it's going to be very stressful. I think one of the main stressors there is like you can't ask your dog what's going on. You can't talk to your dog and say, hey man, what's up? Why don't you feel well? What are you feeling, right? So it's a lot of guesswork, and I think it's that way for the vet too. They're just kind of taking a stab at it. Whoop, light's turning, so I gotta hustle up here. Hopefully this guy doesn't run me over with our dogs. And I'm sure I've said this before, I'm sure people think I'm a lunatic. Like, I'm walking around and I'm using my 360 camera for these videos, which has been great. But like, I've got a camera like 2.5 feet in front of me walking right now. And I know I look like a maniac walking around. People are like, oh my goodness, look at this narcissist talking to himself. But yeah, not too great. Chris and I are heading out for a week's vacation. Neither of us have taken time off since May. It has been a long summer, and I'm getting burned out, and we're going away next week. And Chris was saying this morning, like, can we go away if Ollie's sick? And I said, like, what's the difference? I said, I'm gonna find an emergency vet in each of the spots we're going. But what's the difference? If we're here, if we're on the road, we have the van, he's cared for, it's air conditioned, he's safe. So, I mean, I'm just gonna go ahead with the trip, and we take care of Ollie as necessary, and there's not much else we can do. We still have a few days, so if he tends to get worse, I'll take him to the vet here, but very stressful. I'm sure all of you have had these stressful moments when your dog is not doing well, and you're wondering, like, what is happening to my dog? I wish I could talk to him. You know, there's a side to our dog that nobody else sees. Do you know what I mean? Like, my clients, I get a lot of clients that come in, their dog is like barking at me when I arrive, and that's one of the reasons they called me, the way their dog meets guests, and they're telling me in the consultation, you know, very sweet, my dog's very sweet, and when you really get to know my dog's great, and they're calm. It's just when they meet a new person, they're acting this way, or, you know, my dog chews everything in the house, but they're a good dog. You know, you don't see them all. And I get that. We all have those moments, right, where Chickpea, where we're gonna see, like, where nobody else sees these little moments with our dog, where they're very precious to us, right? These moments where we're like, oh, I just love when my dog does this or my dog does that. And, you know, people are only with us, like even my family members, they're only with me for a couple hours if we're hanging out, and they're seeing an overexcited version of our 3 dogs, because our dogs don't, you know, get to see these people, and they're excited the whole time. And people are like, man, does Chickpea ever calm down? And I go, well, yeah, obviously, like when nobody else is around, you don't see the super relaxed, chill side of Chickpea where she's just hanging out and she's just, you know, being chill. And we all have that, right? Because people always want to tell me, my dog, when nobody else is around, my dog is this, and, you know, and I get it, man. We all have that sort of side to our dog that nobody ever gets to see, that only we get to see. And I don't want other people to see it, in a way. Like, those are moments that are special to my relationship with our dogs that nobody else gets to see. And I don't want them privy to some of that stuff, you know? We put everything on social media. And look, I'm not critiquing people that do this, but I often see people posting pictures of their dog. My dog's not well, please send prayers, please send positive vibes, and then they're giving updates. I'm sure that's important to family members. They want to see, like, oh my goodness, my grand dog is not doing well or something, but I'm a bit more private. I did a video in Florida last February about why I don't really use social media a lot. Like, I don't use social media personally very much. I post once in a while on my personal Instagram. I post client graduation pictures and some pictures of trips and things with our dogs on my work Instagram, my Dog Philosopher Instagram. Couldn't tell you the last time I checked Facebook. Year, 2 years maybe. Like, I have Facebook, I just don't check it. I don't post things on Facebook, I don't care. I'm not a big fan of social media, so on that note, I'm also, let's go this way, guys. I'm also not a huge fan of, like, sharing too much information on social media. So, like, I wouldn't think it's appropriate for me to post a picture today of Ollie not looking well, saying, hey, Ollie's not well, send sympathy, make me feel better, send positive vibes. No offense to anybody. You can't send positive healing vibes that will help my dog. It's not the way life works. The only one that could help my dog would be my vet. That's who could help my dog. Send the vet. But yeah, and I mean, that kind of goes along with what I was just saying. There's these personal moments, and they're just meant for myself and Chris. They're not meant for any of you to see. These are personal moments with myself and my dogs. And that's why there's personal. They're personal, but not for social media. It's not to be posted out there. But I'm sure we all have that sort of side of our dog that nobody gets to see. And you know what? That's special. Nobody else should get to see every moment with your dog. Nobody cares about every moment with your dog. Oh, I tell you. Another thing I wanted to mention, and by the way, this video is just really a hodgepodge. I'm going to switch to posting videos once a month. I'm pretty sure I have over 500 videos that I posted on my YouTube channel over the last number of years. And not that I'm necessarily running out of topics to talk about, but like, I used to do a video once a week. Then I switched to bi-monthly, like twice a week over the last year, because I just thought, wow, man, Sometimes I'm running out of things to talk about. I want to talk about relevant things. I want to give you advice on dog training, but at the same time, there's only so much advice that I'm willing to give in a video. Like, I think it would be irresponsible for me to talk about how to handle aggression or, you know, how to handle certain behavioral issues, because I don't know what you're gonna do with this information, how you're gonna take the information. Maybe I described something and you took it the wrong way and you're doing something different than what I intended. So I think it's irresponsible to give dog training advice, and I get it, there's lots of YouTube dog trainers who give you all kinds of free advice, and I just think it's irresponsible. That's why we're trainers. That's why we go to work with you, the client. Like, I can't give you advice on a dog that I've never even met or assessed. That doesn't even make sense. So like, I'm not just gonna put like random information on how to handle like aggression. I don't even know what type of aggression your dog has. Are they fearfully aggressive? Are they dominant aggressive? Like what is their trauma? Like what caused the aggression? A lot of this stuff matters to the approach for how we fix stuff. Now, I give general information where I feel like even if someone misinterpreted it, it would be totally harmless. And I don't ever talk about things like obedience training, because if I gave you my obedience techniques in a video, there'd be zero reason to hire me as a trainer. Like what purpose would I serve then? So I sell information. That's what I do. I give you information, techniques, guidance. And if I gave you all that in a video, nobody would hire me anymore. And I don't get enough views on YouTube videos to earn a single penny, so it just doesn't make sense. But I'm gonna switch to monthly. It also buys me some more time. We're going into what, the third year of the pandemic, and more or less it has dissipated. COVID has turned into a variant that doesn't seem to be very harmful, so that's great news for all of us. Very happy about that. But I have been working 70 to 80 hours a week for 2.5 years now, and I'm still booking 2 months ahead. And I just need to alleviate a little bit of the pressure, and I think by going monthly on videos, it just takes a little smidgen off my plate here and there. Something that has been driving me crazy that I've noticed quite frequently lately are people that drag their leashes. Like, they're holding their leash and there's so much slack that the leash is dragging on the ground, and I see this frayed, ruined leash, and I just think, what kind of person is just dragging this? They paid money for this leash, and then they're just letting it drag on the ground and get destroyed. Why are we doing that? People, can you tell me why we don't just pick some of the slack up and hold the leash? It can still be loose, people, but it doesn't have to drag around on the ground. And this is not like a one-time thing. I've seen this about 50 times this summer, where people are just walking and they're just grinding their leash out on the ground, and it doesn't make any sense to me. It seems rather weird, but hey, I think a lot of people are weird. I think I'm weird, but just thought I'd mention that. So anyway, that's about all I have to say today. It was a hodgepodge of you know, housekeeping things I wanted to talk about, such as going to monthly videos, to, you know, just some random thoughts, like, you know, the little moments that we have with our dogs that nobody else gets to see, and maybe sharing a little too much information about our dogs on social media. But anyway, I'm gonna go on a beautiful trip with my wife for the Labor Day weekend. Next week, we're taking the whole week off, and I think I will post a little travel video afterwards. So just a fun video. Doesn't, you know, I used to do a lot of excursions with the dogs that I would do videos of, and just, I used to share some videos that had nothing to do with dog training. It was just, hey man, this is how we live with our dogs. And I like people to see that as a dog trainer. I think that goes a long way. These videos are partly so you can get to know my philosophy about dogs and dogs training. It's partly so that you can watch it and just kind of get to know my personality and see if I'm the guy for you, like if we're gonna gel together as a client and trainer. And sometimes I'd like to just share how I live with the dogs, the things we do with the dogs. And that's kind of meant, hopefully, to inspire people. I want people to see that and go, oh cool, I could travel more with my dog. Like, I want to show you how we include our dogs in everything we do, because I think that's what everybody should do. I mean, that's why you get a dog, right? Include the dog in your life, take the dog places. And you know, if you got a dog and you travel a bunch and you're always boarding your dog, I don't know, why do you have a dog? Shouldn't your dog be going with you? You know, isn't that the whole point? Your dog is your companion. I want the dogs with me everywhere I go, man. They're my companions. I love them, and I want them to come along on adventures. So I'll probably make a little video and share a video of our little trip next week, just the highlights, so you can see all the fun that we had with our dogs on our trip. And hopefully Ollie's feeling a little bit better soon. Okay, that's it for this video. And if I do the trip video, I'll post that probably in a couple of weeks, but after that, we're gonna go monthly. And I think that's just better for me right now. It takes a little bit off my plate. And, you know, I get maybe 100, 150 views on a video. I've had as much as 6,000 on some videos that have been on topics people are really interested in. But more or less, I get about 100 or so views per average per video. I mean, I don't do them for views, but also at the same time, if you're not getting a huge viewership, you're not getting a lot of comments back, I mean, why am I taking a lot of time to keep posting all these videos? And I know I would get a lot more feedback if I was posting stuff about dog training directly, but I already explained why I don't do that. So I try and walk this fine line between producing some enjoyable content that's interesting, that gives some advice and some guidance on dogs back, while not going too far to impede the information that I think should be done in person with a client one-on-one. All right, my arm's getting tired. I'm gonna enjoy the rest of the walk with Chickpea and Penny this morning, and I will see you in the next video.